Hey, first play. Wait, you chose a different song? You chose a different song? Yo! This guy. Wait, well, I'm not hearing it.
I hear you, Andre.
Oh, you
Hello,
hear me? Okay, cool.
everyone. Hi, everyone.
Thanks.
Said X.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the village.
Welcome to the village. How you doing, Doc?
Doing great.
We just let everybody know the village. This is a community empowerment and development. We are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy and safe and capable life. My man telling me to hold up. All right, Andre, what the hell? Let's go.
I'm not here.
We can hear him, but there's an echo.
You hear Joan?
Hear John, and I hear you.
Yeah. You gotta teach us how to use these boards, man. So what is this about?
When I'm not. Go ahead, John, speak.
The village, community empowerment and development. We're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, any point. Starting from today, success is not just spoken, it's done. Doc, can you tell us about your success and how it's done?
I'm healthy, I'm alive, and I thank God.
Can't hear you.
I said I am
That's
healthy,
right. Represent. Stand up.
alive, and
Pull up to the bumper.
Lord have mercy. Okay. Can you hear me?
You hear me?
I hear very slightly. Hey, Doc, turn up your volume a little bit more.
All the way up.
It's all the way up. What's going on? There's 4 minutes and 30 seconds to the show. What's going on, Rosie?
It's okay. It's because we weren't here last week.
Yeah, it wasn't here with last week. We got such a feedback. Can we get some AC on in the studio here? AC on hot. It's hot up in here.
Same as usual.
It's the same. No, it's a little bit hotter today. Doc, how you doing, Doc? Let's just. How you doing, Doc?
I am great. And you?
I'm blessed. I'm highly favored.
That's it.
You know, we made it here another Thursday. We have Andre and Sophia. You know, our fearless leader, Mr. Daly, is on his way. So I figure, you know what? Let's start the show. We got some interesting topics, some great topics to discuss. How about that resignation? How about that Cuomo ousting? What do you think about that?
The last time we spoke, we were on the show. I mentioned that it would be more beneficial for him to go out without dragging it on. So it's nice to see that it did come to an end. But just want to put an end to that chapter and move on. That's all.
Yeah, but they put an end to the chapter, but it's
The
really
second-
not an end to the chapter because you see he's facing lawsuits. You still have the assembly who has decided that they're going to continue with their investigation and come up with a what their findings are, and so it's not an end. Also, I saw the new governor, Governor Hochul. She added an additional 12,000 COVID deaths to the number.
Mm-hmm.
So my question then is, where did these 12,000 deaths come from? You know, my whole thing with the prior governor, I think his tactics, the way in which he governed that office, led to basically his demise.
Yeah.
Because he has lost the credibility of those members. You know, maybe the constituents, you know, everybody thought he did such a phenomenal job with the COVID briefings and stuff like that. But there's more to the governor.
Wait. He did do
Come on.
job
Do what?
with the briefings.
She's taking the glasses off, y'all. She's ready to get into a fight. Let's go, Doc.
He did do a great job with the briefing because during that time, we did not have a president who was breaking it down the way he was.
We
So-
had a president.
No, who
Donald Trump.
broke down the data the way he was.
But he was fudging the data on the nursing home. So how are you gonna break down data when he was fudging the data?
Okay, he took a leadership stance. We had a president during that time that really did not take a leadership stance. It was, you know, you do what you do and you do what you don't.
Well, he was taking a leadership stance also with them young women. He was trying to take a leadership stance with them.
We're talking about COVID right now. We're not talking about his.
We're talking about the individual. We're talking about the individual and the tactics in which he used to govern the state of New York. You know, we could talk about COVID. We could talk about the other issues with respect to the young women. You know, the bottom line is he lost all credibility because the way in which he has treated people through his term as governor.
Yes, that he did do.
He always runs to the black community when he's looking for support, but he failed to support the black community on issues that really impacted them. You know, he supported the independent Democrats when the regular Democrats had the majority. He was always in support of the Republicans on those issues. He was forced. The only time he changed his stripes when he was forced to do it when he saw that the legislature had changed hands. So what I'm saying is he wasn't an honest broker. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
And to be fair, I think a lot of politicians are not 100%. So
I you know what? I would agree with you. They're not 100. Some of them want to just do the political things and not really tell the truth. I believe in, you know, straight talk leads to straight understanding, and the people will respect you more when you let them know. But as Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, he says some people can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth when you tell them the truth. They can't handle the truth. And one of the things, just to go off topic, off of Cuomo, is now this whole vaccination. You can't tell people the truth about you need to be vaccinated or you need to comply with the CDC with wearing the mask. You know, a good friend of mine told me he had a friend. I'm quite sure we always have stories. You know, we got the stories on the other end too, Doc. In which his friend, anti-vaxxer, didn't believe in any mask,
Mhm.
contracted the COVID about 6 weeks ago. I talked to my good friend today. He died He died last Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, you heard these conservative radio commentators. Another one who passed away. You know, basically dumbing down the utilization of the vaccine and wearing the mask again. But I know, Doc, you're going to come to me with situations where people who received the vaccination and led to complications. So go ahead, Doc. I'll let you hit me with
I didn't say anything. No, I have to agree with you that people are slacking. People are slacking in regards to the problem I have is that the message that once you are vaccinated does not give you the green light to become careless. That's the problem I have.
And that's a very good point. I think you need to say that again, Doc.
Yeah. So people who are vaccinated should not slack and reverse in taking precautionary measures. Those who are not vaccinated, you should be extra cautious. I similar to you today. I have uh, someone that I know who passed away from not wearing a mask. More than likely, they weren't vaccinated. So, unfortunately, they passed away, leaving behind their family. But the problem is, just because you take the vaccine does not mean you are not a carrier of COVID. So, please continue to practice safety measures at all times because it's not only you, it's everyone around you that's affected.
And I agree with that because I have seen where people, those who have been vaccinated, they are getting lax. They're not
Mm-hmm.
complying with the CDC rules, wearing your mask. I see events going on. You got crowds. You know, people just congregating. You go to these restaurants. You see people just congregating, sitting next to one another. Andre's playing with the microphone, ladies and gentlemen. So I think the what you said was correct. We need to adhere to we're not safe because you got all these different variants of Delta variant. And these are things that we have to continue to wear our masks, make sure we wash our hands, sanitize.
Mm-hmm.
So if in fact those, if in fact we come across that or it exists, at least we have done what is necessary to prevent us from having to be put on ventilators. You know, because only about 20% of those people who are put on ventilators actually survive.
That is true.
And you don't want to be put on a ventilator. So our villagers, please, those who are vaccinated, please adhere to wearing your mask, making sure you wash your hands, because we are not out of the woods yet.
Mm-hmm.
And those who aren't vaccinated, please make sure that you are conscious of the other people that you are around. No need to be in big crowds. Wash your hands, wear your mask. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to be responsible for or someone else's demise. So I just want us to make sure that we do what we have to do on our end to make sure, because there's going to be continuously different variants. Because I thought, honestly, myself, I thought once I was vaccinated and everyone started getting vaccinated, you talked about this herd immunity, the numbers would go down, but now the numbers are creeping back up again, and they're creeping back up with respect to the non-vaxxers. But what's important, Doc, is that the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, just signed off on the Pfizer vaccine. So now,
Wait, I love this comment that Anne Marie Willissy put.
Anne-Marie, what's your comment, Anne-Marie? Read
Some
it, Doc.
of those who take the vaccine has a false sense of security, which is bad. That is the major problem. People letting down their guards big time. That's true. They're promoting, they're pushing, get vaccinated, and it's going to go away. Yes, you're vaccinated, but what next? You don't vaccinate and then start doing crazy, careless thing like you mentioned, Anne-Marie. 100%.
Anne-Marie, you're correct, because I remember when I got the vaccine, I started to slack up a little bit, but then I realized I can't backslide, because then the doctor would be correct. So I got to make sure the doctor's not correct. So I had to stop backsliding. So I wear my mask. I make sure I sanitize. I got my mask here in the studio, which they said I can't wear it, but I prefer to wear it, but I can't wear it. But to the point that I was talking about now you see these mandates throughout the states. The mandates going on, and now we have a mandate with the Board of Education from the mayor of the city of New York. We have the restaurants, those who are seeking to go indoor to restaurants, either they have to present their vaccination cards or you got to eat outside. What do you think about that, Doc? And I know.
Okay, we're eating outside.
All right.
Okay, we're eating outside.
And hey, Doc, hold on. I know something that's really going to hit you. What about mandating the school, the teachers, and the staff? What do you think about that, Doc? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Doc. I have to sit back now. I know it's coming.
I'm not saying a word.
Why are you not saying a word?
Let's
talk about it, Doc. What do you feel about that mandate? She's taking a deep breath, my villagers.
Yeah. I get it from every angle, but here's the problem with that perspective. Only mandating the teachers and not anyone else. The problem is children still go back home. They still go back home. So if they're not vaccinated at home, they could be the carriers. So there's no guarantee that by teachers being vaccinated, that is going to stop the spread. That's not happening. So it can happen from anyone.
That's true. But what do we do? I mean, what do we do? I mean, you have the students, they wear their masks. Mm-hmm. Teachers need to be vaccinated. This is not 100% foolproof. However, we have to do something.
And we did something the entire time. So, and I understand some of the teachers' perspective who were there in the heart and the heat of things. Some that went and worked at the rec, like myself, and some who were working in the school district last year, who went into the building, who were not working from home. So they were essential during that time. And they did everything, precautionary measures. Thank God so far. I have not had any, God protected me. I have not had any COVID or anything to that extent, but I've been very cautious in regards to how I go about and doing things.
But that's you, Doc. That's you taking the necessary precautions. But what about those who don't take the necessary precautions that jeopardize the health and safety of others such as yourself and other educators and the children? What do we do?
But here's the thing. I don't like the and I mentioned this a couple of months back. It's the has and the has not. Right. You have the vaccine, you don't have the vaccine. You can't put all the blame on the unvaccinated people to say they're the carriers. They're the one carrying.
But doctor, statistics are showing that the ones who are occupying the hospitals now are those who are not vaccinated.
There are a lot of breakthroughs. So how is that happening? If 70% of New York City is vaccinated, why are the numbers still going up? So those 70% is only 30% that should have a problem, but it's more than that that's showing up. So what is wrong with that data?
What's wrong with that data is the makeup of the cases are those who are unvaccinated and potentially can lead to the death. And the question is the data accurate? The question is whether or not the data is accurate. However, statistics and the data have shown that those who are vaccinated have very little chance of succumbing to the virus.
Okay, that's what I hear. That is what I hear.
What are you trying? Just because you hear that, you don't believe it? What do you?
No. I didn't say that. That is what I hear in regards to that.
Right.
From people in the hospital, from people, okay, yes, I will hear that. But to say that, hey, everyone that's coming down with the virus, or everyone that is now with COVID, are people who are unvaccinated. That I disagree with. That I think that is fudging with the data, 100%.
Like the governor fudged with the deaths in the nursing
Yeah,
home with the data,
yeah.
and
So
that's
I
why they took away his Emmy. You know they took away his Emmy, right?
Excuse me?
You know they took away the governor's Emmy, right?
Yes. Yesterday, 2 days ago, when he stepped down, they took away the Emmy.
Let me tell you something. They always, when you step down, they always say disgrace, whatever. They're always ready to take something from you, something that you legitimately earned. They're always willing to take it away from you. And this is what, when I talk about the righteousness of people, the politically correct thing to do, and just to jump to another topic, it's the way in which the Democrats go about disowning you when there's an issue, or there's an issue or a controversy. Andrew Cuomo is one. I like the way the Democrats just gotta go. They abandoned him. Rightfully so. However, we look at the Republicans.
That's true. They stick with
and look with Donald Trump. Well, excuse me, former President Donald Trump. Prior to him even being elected, that video in which he said he grabs the private parts of women. This guy was elected to office.
Yes.
And then while in office, all the other controversies. However, the Republicans did not. There were very few. There was a handful, not even a handful, maybe 2 people, 3 people on one hand, really were vocal about the acts that he took. The other Republicans knew what the goal was. The goal was to keep this guy as our president, possibility even win another term, but they were wrong with respect to that, because the people were just fed up with his antics, and as a result, he lost. However, it just shows you the power of a cohesive group being able to deal with issues such as the Democrats run in a minute.
You're right. And what I realize is, if it's not going a certain way, they will stall. And that's a problem. That is definitely a problem. There is no united front across the board. You will have, hey, I want it this way, I want it done this way. There's so many. If we look at the mayoral election before, so many different individuals wanted to have full control over, hey, I want to be in control. No one could work collaboratively together.
Right.
And that is the problem I am seeing with the Democratic Party.
Right.
That if they disagree with you, they're going to create their own little group, and that's it. So I don't know. It's disappointing overall. It makes you think that, hey, maybe I should go back into being an independent party instead of.
What? That's what a lot of people say that, and to even go, and now they want to strip his father's name from the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Yes, that.
They go from one extreme to the next extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're looking to punishment. Come on and join us, Andre. Don't be from the peanut gallery. Come in and join us. This conversation. Yeah.
That was a bill even before he left office, and it was interesting because I guess they felt as though they were pressured to change the name. Is that the reason why?
Pressure from who? Pressure from who? Pressure from who? The people don't care about the daggone bridge. The people want, as long as the bridge holds up, alleviate some of the traffic and strain, the congestion that's going on. Mm-hmm. People don't care who a bridge is named after.
But like you said, it's a form of punishment.
And that's why we're good to jump to punishing people. Good. However, you see with the Republicans, they sit back, they understand that it's all about being in power, because once you're in power, there's certain things you can do. So that's another issue I got, bone to pick with the Democrats, but it is what it is, Doc. And I see you want to become an independent, but I think you should remain a Democrat, especially in New York State. And now I want to commend women. And because now we have the first ever elected woman as governor of the great state of New York, and that is Miss Hochul. She's a 62-year-old former congresswoman from Buffalo with a long career in government.
Mm-hmm.
And she took over. She was the lieutenant governor since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anne-Marie.
And wait, there's another.
Go ahead, Doc.
Anne-Marie wrote, sad how the governor left office. Trump did worse, and no one seems to make him accountable. The system seems unfair. There was another comment that Sophia wrote. Please, that's sad because he did work for it regardless of his wrong action.
I agree with you, Sophia.
Yeah, because people tend to erase people just because they disagree with everyone have good and bad. Everyone have no one's perfect. And I'm not saying that at all, but you know what, you can't take away the work that he's done in office.
But that's what people always want to do. They want to zero out the work that you have done.
Erase your life.
Because they think they are the holier than thou, and you have to just mark this person's contributions from history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's Democrats will always be Democrats, and that's why we will always be crabs in a barrel, just fighting one another to get to the top, instead of working as a cohesive unit, just building one by one, by laying on top of one by one, so we can build ourselves to the point where we all can benefit from whoever's in office. So you are right, Anne-Marie, you are right, Sophia. So I think we have closed this chapter on the prior governor. Now we have a new governor, Governor Hochul. And one of the interesting things that, is what are you clapping for, Andre? The lady. You don't know.
Our new governor. That's what she's clapping for. Lord.
Let me tell you something. I ain't clapping for no one until I see the results. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing results. In the first act, she talked about increasing the COVID death numbers, but then she appointed an African American as a lieutenant governor, which is Brian Benjamin from Harlem. I want to commend former State Senator Benjamin for becoming the second African American lieutenant governor in this great state of New York. So, Andre, if you want to clap, you need to clap for that too. Thank you very much. And she indicated that she wants to run once this term is over. My question to you is, what do you think about that?
I don't know enough about her.
Right. You only can determine her deeds, what she does, right?
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
However, what do you
I'd
think
rather her than what is his name? Giuliani's son. There's no way.
Yeah, of course.
No, Giuliani. No Jesus.
You mean Andrew Giuliani?
Mm-hmm. We can't take another one.
Yeah, but we got to watch out for Lee Zeldin too. Lee Zeldin's very interesting. He was a very staunch supporter of the former President Donald Trump. So the whole point was, I think she was smart in which she reached out to Brian Benjamin. Man, what are you doing, man? Why are you interrupting the show, Mr. Daly? Why are you coming in to interrupt the show? First of all, you're a half an hour late from the show. And now you interrupt without saying good night, good evening.
You know what? I didn't interrupt, put myself on the screen, so you got to blame Andre. But first and foremost, welcome all the villagers. How you doing? Welcome to the show. How are you guys? From my end, because I know John and Joanne did a great job of doing that already. So from my end, I'm just saying what's up. What's up? We were off last week. We're on this week. Just saying what's up.
Listeners,
ask
John, Mr. Daly where you're coming from.
What you were talking about, I'm going to tell you why.
Listeners, ask Mr. Daly where you're coming from.
I'm coming.
We can't hear you.
I I'm coming from a. You can't hear me.
Coming
Can you
from
hear
the
me now?
airport, asking where you're coming from.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
We
me?
Yes,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
Yeah. So I'm coming from Jamaica,
Oh,
right? But
eh?
wait.
Jamaica? How long you was
Yeah,
there?
don't even go there.
Eh?
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. I'm
Eh,
coming from
eh?
Jamaica because I'm coming from a family reunion. It's the first one we did. The first family reunion. I want to give special shout out first of all to my parents. Right, it was their idea.
Big up to the dailies. Big up.
Yeah. Right. My mom and dad, pastor and pastor and minister Llewellyn, and to everybody out there,
Hey,
Nazel.
Roger, I didn't know your parents are pastors.
Yeah, my father's a pastor. Yeah, Pastor Llewellyn.
What the hell
Llewellyn.
happened to you?
Honestly,
What happened to Daily?
I am a deeply religious person. I'm not an Orthodox Christian. I'm more of a progressive Christian.
You mean you
I am-
unorthodox?
Yeah, I'm not Orthodox. I don't follow certain doctrines, and I don't believe a lot of things. But I do believe in the power of prayer and all the good stuff. I do believe in all of that, but there's certain things that I don't follow. So my parents, my family, I don't want to name all of them because I'm going to forget somebody. But then, we gave out like 9 tablets to the local schools, and I got to tell you, we went back to where we came from, right? And we gave out thousands of dollars worth of donation of food, clothing, school supplies.
Excellent, brother.
To the community.
Excellent.
And you could see the line that was so long. Kids were getting stuff. I mean, people really, really, really struggling. I mean, I'm not.
Hold on. I heard Andre was down there too.
Yeah, Andre was there.
Mm.
Yeah, Andre was there.
Hey, Doc, were you in Jamaica?
No, not this
I
time.
wasn't there either. But go ahead. Go ahead,
Nah,
Roger.
you were invited though. You chose not to come. Both
Yeah,
were
go ahead,
invited.
Roger. Go ahead.
Yes.
But it was.
And Sophia, were you invited? All right.
Kumbaya, man. But it was just crazy. But it was good. We killed
Did you see Teddy Bailey down there? Did you see Mr. Bailey down there? He's always jet setting all over the world. Did you see him down in Jamaica?
Teddy? No, I didn't see Teddy. But you know who was down there? I don't know if you know Chris?
Which one?
Townsend. He was with UFT.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was down there. But I ran into a couple of people we did it's just a couple of things. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. First and foremost,
That's a big bottle of water, Doc.
No, let me pause. Because I forgot to do something first. I lost my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my condolences.
Right.
My condolences.
Like literally, we didn't have the show last week, but I lost my mother-in-law. So I have to, before I do anything else, talk more about Jamaica. I want to make sure that I pay some respects to Florence Campbell Letts Johnson, who, I don't know, people always say that mother-in-laws.
You'll move back from the mic a little too close to the mic, man. We can't hear you too well.
Right. Can you hear me?
Back it up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So a lot of people always talk, mother-in-laws are this, mother-in-laws are that. My mother-in-law was the greatest. I don't know what people talk about, right? I don't know what people are talking about. This woman was a phenomenal woman, phenomenal mother. And she was very good to me. And even more so, it came out even more last year when I was very, very ill. So I want to make sure that, she knew I loved her in person because I told her, but I also make sure that they know, that the family knows that she was great. I mean, I've known this woman for as a matter of fact, 4 days, less than 30 years. When she passed August 14th.
Big up, man. Raise your glass. Your glass, man.
So I am deeply saddened, and my family, Garcia, my kids, all of us are just hurting. And so, I somebody said, my wife, we had planned a family reunion prior to going down. It's been since February. So she came down, and, some people had some negative reactions to some things. I was like, she was taking pictures. So what? I'm like, for me, it's like, so what? That she's taking it's a picture that she's taking. For the most of the time, it was just crazy. She was in her hotel planning the funeral and going berserk. I was like, oh, you need to get out of the hotel where we're staying and do something. But she was just there, and every day it's just crazy. So I want to make sure that I let people know that the funeral is on Monday. Thanks to Bishop Hardin. Is going to be over at Grace Deliverance on Monday. So for that.
You know what, Roderick, we on behalf of the show, on behalf of our villagers, we want to send our condolences and big up to Garcia, and may Mom rest in eternal peace.
Yes.
And we will make sure that we watch over her family, as I know she watch over all of us. So we raise our glass.
Yes.
Big up.
And cheers, sir. Yep. Big up to Florence Lex Johnson.
Yes, big up. Raise that water bottle, Doc. Raise that water bottle.
I don't know the greatest mother-in-law. You know what I'm saying?
So, Roderick, let me tell you something, man.
So it's just crazy.
Let me tell you something. We want to get into a topic that is dear to our hearts. Not marijuana.
But
we're not talking about that. We are talking about what the heck is President Biden doing in Afghanistan? What the heck is going on? Today, 12 Marines killed, along with civilians. What the heck is going on?
Afghanistan's crazy. It's actually interesting. I couldn't get regular television, but when I got TV, and that's what's it's like it's global. It's covering the world about the craziness that's going on, and the Taliban and what's happening.
Hey, Doc, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, this is the biggest mishaps. How the heck do you not plan for a smooth exit from Afghanistan? How do you make a deadline when you don't have the as we call the format or the structure in place so this can be executed? It's like it has to be perfectly planned and well executed. This wasn't perfect. This wasn't planned. This was executed horribly, and now we're looking at the deaths of 12 Marines and civilians.
Yeah,
and conservatives have a right to get on this case about this. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry, Doc. Doc, what are your thoughts, Doc?
You know what? I think overall, he came into office. Biden came into office with a deadline for withdrawing the troops. And whatever it is, he had to agree with that. Now, the problem with that is that we train terrorists. And once we, as the United States, gave them materials and supplies and all these wonderful weapons and time, their president bounced. Now, having 12 Marines die in the process, you're thinking, hey, 20-year anniversary of September 11th, people are thinking of doing something crazy in that process. Whenever it's coming closer to a 10-year anniversary, 5-year anniversary, a 20-year anniversary, our guard should always be up, not down, and think that everything is back to normal. No. Retaliation is something that will come back. People will look at things that happened 60 years ago and say, hey, it's the fault of the United States. Tia, the terrorists are trying to make Afghan too afraid to leave, which is true. And they're blocking them as well. They're blocking these people. And some of the translators can't even get to the airport. So scare tactics in every form and every angle. And unfortunately, the Marines who just went down are victims. So I know that Biden said, the president said that I'm trying to be proper, that we will, they're going to pay or whatever it is. But right now it's what. I have
what are they going to pay for the president of the United States incompetence, not executing, not putting together a plan, or even adhering to a deadline? What the heck is a deadline? I'm the president. We are the United States of America. We have to move all of our people out of there. Taliban, we're going to move all our people out of there within a certain period of time. You know what? If you don't want to agree, fine. Then we do what we need to do. Let's do what we need to do. This is a debacle. Debacle.
You know what this reminds you of, John and Joanne, J&J? It reminds me of 1980 in that presidential election with Jimmy Carter, which could have been the end of his tenure. The only good news about this is that it's happening at the beginning of his tenure as president and not at the end. But I think it's one of those things that's really going to hurt his presidency, not because he's doing something totally absurd, but on the right-wing side. Because think about it, what was worse than the debacle of COVID under the president, under President Trump, and that cost him that actually cost him the presidency, because people were like, you're ridiculous. So the good news is that it's at the beginning of his presidency, not at the end of his presidency. But this debacle, where the Taliban is also saying that they're not letting people out of the country, and it's
war again.
crazy.
It's war again, a continuation of war, because you know what? They attack our people. There's going to be a retaliation. So it's continuing that saga, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. You want to remove yourself from the situation, but you can't really remove yourself from the situation because you're stuck in it. And now, attacking our people is going to have a retaliation to that as well. So it will never end, unfortunately, it seems.
And one of the things that we got to know, and I know John knows this well, is that the American people nor the political entity is going to allow 12 Marines to lose their lives without some kind of consequence that's going to happen for that. And that what you're saying, Joanne, Dr. Bryant, about continuous war, I don't know. That you might be 100% on board with that, because it's not going to go down killing 12 Marines. Because if he doesn't do anything about those 12 Marines, it's going to be Republican, what is it called when you just go haywire, or whatever it is, it's called frenzy, on his lack of support for the American troops.
What's funny is the Republican Party started discussing impeachment of Biden because of what happened in Afghanistan. Even Trump mentioned, hey, you know what? This was a disgrace. And I'm saying to myself, he's talking out of all people, Lord. So it's one thing you do wrong, everything comes crashing down, or they look at that.
Well, you know what? It is true. And, as I sit here looking at some of the not comments, I look some of the news blips on my phone here, just pull up the whole issue with this Afghanistan debacle. It is not only the Republicans just hitting them, it's the Democrats. Because this is truly a debacle. My and this is what I said to myself. I said, I hope this doesn't backfire. Because if there is a terrorist act,
and that's what happened.
But what I'm also concerned about is those people that we're evacuating are there going to be, are those individuals going to act up? And is terrorism going to be on the rise on our land, our homelands again? And this is all going to be placed at the doorsteps of the Capitol, the White House.
I don't really, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think terrorism, not domestic terrorism, but domestic terrorist acts, right, will happen, right? I think.
Well, you're a prophet? You're a prophet?
Yeah, I'm going to be a prophet on this one.
Remember, year number 20.
Right, but I do think that the violence in the violence in the Middle East and the malarkey, the craziness is going to swell, right? And so that.
As soon as you said malarkey, go ahead. You got frozen.
So one thing I do notice is that President Biden, mentioned that he can't guarantee that all the Afghan allies can come out. So we're there to remove the Americans, to help those who helped us, but there's no guarantee.
But Doc, my whole point was, bring that comment Sophia talked about. Sophia said, her comment is that the thought occurred to her that what about the people that we're bringing over here? Mm-hmm. And we are bringing over people over here. So do they have some anti-American sentiment? Are they going to engage into terrorist acts? These are things that we should be on notice in the back of our mind, but just praying that it doesn't happen. However, there are people over there, Afghanistan people who were very helpful while we were fighting the Taliban, the interpreters, and we left some of them over there. That's not right. We gave them certain assurances and problems, certain humanitarians, and the Taliban, and this is the same Taliban group. Everybody talks to conservatives talk a lot of crap too. They didn't say anything when President Trump was going to invite the Taliban leaders to Camp David. So this is an opportunity now for them to hit Biden. And, the president of the United States, the only thing I'm saying is this should have been planned a lot better. I would have, if you were going to adhere to this deadline, you don't wait until the week of to send the CIA director to speak to the de facto leader of the Taliban and let them know, no, I'm going to send them in months before and let them know. I say, hey, this is what we're going to do. But you know what? It's interesting because if we told them that, they would have been prepared and they could have acted, they could have engaged in some other terrorist acts. So let me rethink that. What I'm saying is I would call them on the phone after today's incident. And I said, you know what? That deadline has moved. When you kill 12 of our soldiers, 13 of our soldiers and the civilians, I said, no. You know what I'm saying? You need to take care of what you need to take care of, because if in fact I have to send my troops back into Afghanistan again, it is not going to be pretty. I'm going to level the place. That's what I'm going to do.
John, maybe we should go back to olden days where we have imperialism. I know that we're not an imperial country, but we take over the country and become. We
don't want to engage in nation building. We don't need to engage in nation.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about becoming a part of the United States. Like you're no longer. What is it called? Colonization. Yeah, colonization. Yes, that's the word.
But I mean, enough is enough.
Become an American state.
This was a debacle, man.
But their leader left their people.
He cut out and took that money. Took that money. His kids over here living well, over here in New York, living beautiful.
Are they really in New York?
Yep.
Whose kids are in New York? I didn't hear that first part.
The leader of the president of Afghanistan, he boarded that plane and got the heck out of there. Took that money too. Gone. He was a ghost.
And they're in New York.
His parents are in New York.
Oh God.
You know, Tia, I agree with you, Tia. It was never going to go smoothly, Tia, but it could have been planned a lot better. It could have been planned a lot better.
I think.
Did you see
John,
those people just running? A guy getting on that C-70 plane, falling from the sky.
Several of them.
Several of them. That was insane. That was insane.
Yeah. That right there. They think they actually can fly with the plane on the outside. There's no way.
Well, to get away from the Taliban rule, they were willing to give their lives for that bit of freedom. So
That's a suicide mission right there.
Hey, hello? Hello, somebody. And for our president not
you know, John and Joanne, I don't think it mattered who was going to remove the troops. And I think Barack Obama, the former President Barack Obama, knew that it was going to be crazy because he had also said he was going to remove the troops and didn't do it. Trump said he was going to remove the troops and didn't do it.
Right.
Biden said he was going to remove it and did do it. Right.
Oh.
Right. So at the end of the day, of last three presidents, because if I remember clearly, when Barack Obama was running for president, he said he talked about getting the troops out of Afghanistan, right? What he did was reduce the number of troops, and so did Trump. But Biden removed them. So it didn't matter who was going to be president. All of them spoke about the removal of troops.
But you're saying that Biden kept his word.
But Biden kept his word. Now he looks like an idiot because of the craziness that's happening, right? But all of them said they were going to do it. Every single last one.
Yeah, there's one thing to say that you're going to do it. The other thing is to execute it.
That's true, and that's what you're talking about. And that's what you're talking about. And the other thing that I'm thinking in my mind as well is, where are his generals, his commanders, that backdoor conversation about the expectation of reality of removing the troops, and with such abrupt immediacy?
It seemed as though there was he didn't listen to them, because based on the conversation they were having, they gave him information, and it seemed as though he took one stance and one stance alone. And that is a problem. You need to look at every angle. You know, your generals, your people on ground will tell you, hey, you know, I don't think that's a good idea. But just to adhere to the deadline and forget about everything else was not so smart.
Because they were in the process of rushing, because they're adhering to the deadline, that they left their guards down, and look what happened. So what I would call it off. I said, you know what? Until I get all my people in, they're not going to be a deadline. And if you want to engage in this type of, let's get prepared, let's have our planes ready. We are ready to go and bomb the crap out of them so they can understand.
Tiero, I saw that, and they found a body in the wheel well when the plane landed. That is so gross. Oh my God.
That is disgusting.
Oh.
It's horrible. It's and you know, these 13 military, these 13 Marines, they're young people who have families.
Innocent, right?
You know.
And that's why when it comes to, that's why,
because it is war. But
you know, everybody thought because of his experience in government that his foreign policy ideology would be one to reckon with. So far, he has failed. He has failed. The president has failed. I hate to say it, but he has failed.
You're sounding like
one of his biggest pests, and he failed. He failed.
In this, I don't want to use the word fail. Fail, I think, is
harsh.
Is not harsh, but unfair. right? Because in one breath, he stuck to his word. It wasn't good.
What
And he stuck to the same word that
more
every
your
president.
word stuck to your word that caused the non-execution of a policy that led to the death of individuals and it might lead to the death of more individuals because you sticking to your word? Is
You know,
that what I'm hearing from you, Mr. Daly? Oh, you're frozen now. Good thing you're frozen. So, Doc,
so
to you now.
here is my thought. Last week we were seeing the last 2 weeks because of the whole removal and how abrupt it was. It seemed as though they put it out there as though the United States was running away from the terrorists. They were running and we were weak. That was the message that was
Right.
being conveyed. Unfortunately, when you show weakness, that is an opportunity for people to attack you. And I think that's where this attack came from. It was planned,
So
other people knew about it, but hey, all of our guards were not up.
what I was saying before I got disconnected was that a lot of people
Before you got disconnected again, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't disconnect you.
So, here's the thing. The words also that Biden is using, American will not be intimidated. It borderline of saying, hey, you know what, you attack, be prepared for attack back. That's, if you listen carefully, we will have retaliation. So that's what is coming across, that this is a new Sega of a new part of a war that unfortunately
Is no unfortunately at all. It was total incompetence of the President of the United States and his administration for not putting together an exit plan that would have saw the successful removal of those Afghanistan people who supported us and those American citizens. That is a colossal failure. That is my point of view, and I will stick with that point of view.
Hello, Mr. Daly.
Now, you got Mr. Daly in the house. So it's good. Now, I want to hear how you are going to cover for the colossal mistake of this president of the United States.
John, it's not just about, again, we all in hindsight say, right? We all in hindsight say it's a screw up, right? It's a screw up totally 100%, right? But you have to say, what I was saying before I got disconnected was that for the last 20 years or so, right, close to 20, 2003 was the actual start of the war, right, under then President Bush.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted their troops home. They wanted their family members home. He listened stupidly to that argument because of the 13 Marines who were killed. So if the transition was good, was better, and nobody got hurt, then he did a great thing to take bring the troops home. Because people want the troops home. They want to see their family members. You're talking about when I spoke to my brother, right? My brother would, he would be, and much respect to Sergeant Campbell, Devon Campbell, Gunnery Sergeant Campbell, who was actually also one of the what do you call him at Floyd Bennett over here. He was away at war 2 years. He couldn't see his family. There are people who've been there who re-enlist, and do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they can't come home.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come home. I know that when my brother was over there in Afghanistan, I was nervous. I was nervous for him. Right? So Devin, right? So I could understand why he took that stance. Now, hindsight said it was a stupid decision because 13 Marines died. But
No.
had those not 13 died, I get it, John. I get it. I see you raising your hand and saying, "Oh my God!" But the families wanted to have their family members home.
But here's the problem with that. The families wanted the families to come home, but now he had to send another set of troops out there, another group, because of the debacle, like John says. There's another new set of Marines, Army people that just went out there, and they're in the heat of it. So these are not the ones that was there prior. These are another set to try to fix the mistake that he made. So that's the problem. And now you have a new set of families who are nervous about
Did
this.
we talk about?
You're on my side for once.
No, I have family members out now over there. That's not cool. One set leave and then another set go. You know, it's a mess no matter what. We can't hear you, John.
We should have foresaw this.
Mm-hmm.
We should have foresaw it. It was not planned.
It was poor intelligence.
Bottom line was poor intelligence.
Yep.
And on the day we saw all those people running behind that plane, getting in the real world, we knew that chaos was going to ensue. So what precautions at that point in time should we have taken? We had sense enough after that to send directed the CIA over to Afghanistan to speak to the de facto head of the Taliban group. So there were warnings. We didn't heed the warnings.
Or maybe he didn't listen. That's the
No,
thing.
he no. I don't know about listening. Maybe I think he was not advised well. I think he was just not advised because he seems like the type. He doesn't seem like Trump. Trump seems like I'm gonna do whatever I want whenever I want.
Trump
Because
ain't got nothing to do with this.
no. I'm talking about thinking.
Right.
Thinking, not
But
about.
no, a couple times he had
Trump
conversations.
is like more. I feel like Trump is more arrogant than this guy is. I just think he just got bad intelligence. That's.
I don't know because the thing he's stuck.
I think he just got bad intelligence on this issue. Right. There's who's that comment right there? I saw the comment at the bottom. What is that?
Comment, Tia Bryant. Tia, even Trump knew it was going to be a mess.
Yeah.
If we withdrew, every president knew it. That's why they didn't withdraw. Good point, Tia.
That is true.
And he should have also going in there, maybe gradual withdrawal.
Yes.
Maybe gradual withdrawal. So this is just crazy. That's one thing that's going on in the world right now. We look at. Did you get to talk about the fact that Joanne's favorite subject, Dr. Brian's favorite subject about?
Leave me out of this. Leave me
but it's
out
all
of
about
this.
you.
Leave me out.
So I want to know what you and Andre are going to do.
My God.
You already know.
We
We already go to the top. Is I'm against this thing.
No. I never said you were against it. I know Dr. Brian is against it. You're not against it. You're just fearful.
No.
Yeah, I just want to know. I just want to know. I want to know what they're going to do. What they're going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen of the village, this is what happens. Oh, we're going to.
Oh shit! Oh, we conveniently lost her. Right. So, what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is that the New York City, after FDA approved, now it's no longer a trial drug; it's an approved drug with the Pfizer vaccine, which the assumption that the others are to follow. Right. Right. And then I guess they also approved the third, the booster shot, that all New York City teachers must take the vaccine, right? Or else you will be terminated. That's it, ultimately it. What is going to become, I personally agree with that. right? I read somebody sent me a WhatsApp thing, which kind of solidified for me. He was joking, being comedic, but his comment was, a lot of people are like, oh, you take the vaccine and you still catch COVID, or this, blah, 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 right? So he said, well, if you take birth control, you can still get pregnant, right? If you wear a seatbelt, you can still die in a car crash or get hurt. The vaccine is 95%, actually it's higher, it's about 99% effective against death. But it doesn't mean that you won't die if you have the vaccine. So the question becomes, but it creates another layer of safety, right? Another layer of safety when it comes to our safety. So my question to Dr. Bryant, who, not from your personal view, yes, from your personal view, but not from the person as in you, Dr. Bryant, but as an educator. What do you think of this policy that says all educators must be vaccinated? What do you think of that?
Like all police officers need to be vaccinated too. It's
Yes.
interesting how their union actually jumped up and are standing behind them in regards to their rights or whatever.
They still got to get vaccinated, though. It doesn't even matter. They still got to get vaccinated.
Maybe not. There's people.
No, they do. The UFT is stronger than NYPD. The union is stronger than the police union by far. And if they have to do it, trust me, the police will do it as well. So that's not the question of whether or not they're going to do it. I'm saying, what do you think about that? Are you saying you should have the right to choose or not choose? Because at the end of the day, if a student is not vaccinated, they are not going to be allowed in school. You must have the immunization. They literally says that a student who's not vaccinated, does not have the yellow card, cannot come to school. They have a certain amount of time to get it, and then they cannot come. Why is it okay for students to be vaccinated and not the teachers? Why all of a sudden it's my right, but when as a kid you have to be vaccinated?
It's thank you, Horace, for your comment. It's a layer of safety, but not the same as seatbelt.
It's a layer of safety, but not what? I didn't hear.
Not the same as seatbelt. Here is my comment in regards to that. Yes.
But wait, before you make the comment though, Doc, I just want to say, just remind people this is Dr. Bryant's opinion. She's not speaking for the Board of Education.
Not at all.
So I want to be clear that
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Right. Right. She's not speaking for the Board of Education. So I don't want anybody to say that she's just saying what she thinks. Go ahead, Doc.
Here it is. You have children who will be vaccinated, those who are not vaccinated. Even if you had 100% of the teachers vaccinated, the kids who come from families who are not vaccinated can also be carriers to bring in. For example, my nephew in Florida, his class had a student who tested positive, but guess what? Florida has a different perspective. Until 4 or 5 different
Florida
people
got DeSantis. That's the different perspective.
That is. And until 4 or 5 children in the classroom test positive, that's when they will notify parents. That's a problem. So that means you could be sitting next to someone who is positive and they're not going to notify their family. So you're continuing the spread because they're not wearing masks. They're not doing certain things. So it is crazy. It is so effective. Why is it that you must sign a waiver to release all rights to sue should you die as a result of the vaccine?
But now that doesn't need to happen now because of the FDA approving the drug.
Only one drug, right?
One drug.
The Pfizer.
But it's still the drug that people can take.
Okay.
What about Moderna? What about
No, but I'm saying people now can take Pfizer because it's approved. If you don't want to take any other one, you could take that one.
So the others, you still have to sign the release.
Yes. You know, interesting in California, I don't know if you guys heard about that. There are two, a pair of sisters, a pair of siblings, I don't know if they're brother or sister, who were going to a charter school and actually called the police because they refused to wear a mask. In school in California, they were going to a charter school and they were no longer allowed to go to school. They got expelled because they chose not to wear the mask.
In Florida and Texas, totally different. They're against creating mandates for you to wear masks.
But we went off the subject a little bit, but I want to point something out. I want to point something out that which I didn't know, and I don't know how true it is either. So two things I did not know, and maybe John knows this. Ron Paul, who's anti-mask wearing, gains money if somebody gets COVID, right? Because he's part of a group of individuals who have investment in the hospital system or the medical system that will gain a profit. So he's a Republican that's anti anything that will protect you from COVID because of the profitability. Hold on. Let me do one thing. Other thing on this is in Florida, right? You have to pay for the COVID test, and you have to pay for other things if you get sick. So they don't want. So a lot of times, and we got to look at those things. Alabama says you have to pay money weekly to take the COVID test if you don't want to be vaccinated.
Wow.
Right? So when we start talking about DeSantis saying Florida doesn't say this about anti-vaccine or anti-mask, they're not telling you that it's costing you money when you get sick from COVID. They don't tell you that part because it's not in their favor to tell you that you got to pay if you were to get sick from COVID. Remember something of importance that people don't know. It is more expensive and better for the hospitals and the medical system if you get COVID than you don't. To put you on a ventilator, to a week in the hospital, all of those things are financially debilitating. So if you take the vaccine and you have less likelihood of getting hurt or injured or hospitalized, right? I just came back from Jamaica, people, so don't worry about my accent.
Pile of tricks.
Right? If you are hospitalized, you pay more. They make more than if you're vaccinated. Because if you're vaccinated, they're essentially saying that you'll be better quicker.
How does it work with the stock market and those investing in the vaccine?
Because it's the medical field, right? So you're paying into medicine. So the more they're paying into the medicine that you need, if you have COVID, the more that stock will go up.
Well, it's the pharmaceutical.
And the pharmaceutical. Right.
It's the same thing with Ron DeSantis, with him talking about anti-vaccines, but he's promoting the vaccine that is generated by a very big contributor of his.
Right.
So this whole vaccine, non-vaxxer, vax this, vax that. The bottom line is this: COVID exists. We have seen it. We know what's going on. Those who can take the vaccine, please take them. Those who can't, please just make sure you find all the precautions to prevent that from spreading to other people until we find a cure for this. Thank goodness for the Pfizer being allowed, being approved. So now we got to move on to the next step, and it all comes to educating. It all comes to educating our people about this. You know, John. One thing that we're talking about educating our people. I was watching Tucker Carlson. Oh, yeah. I was watching. He's out there, man. He's a fucking host. Right. I wish we had a delay on that. Hopefully nobody heard that. But I was like, he's out there. He's really far out there. Wait, hold on. Right. So I'm just thinking of the stupidness sometimes that they're saying. Right. We have yet to bring on
a doctor, and we've brought on at least 4 doctors, right? Is that correct? We brought on Dr. Braha, Dr.
Brian.
Not that Dr. Brian. Yeah, we brought that one on, but she's not a medical doctor. Dr. White, Dr. Alexander, Dr. Clark, right? So we brought on at least 4 doctors, right? And there's a 5th one, right? Christina, right? The people who work in the medical field, yeah, I mentioned Dr. White. The people who work in the hospitals and the medical field, I've yet to have spoken to one who have said, don't take the vaccine.
They can't
People
do it.
literally on the front
they
line. Hold on. People are on the front line. Wait. People on the front line. Now, I have not seen somebody who's on the front line tell you not to take the vaccine.
They can't. The license is attached to that. They cannot push something that, if they're wearing the coat.
Not even in conversation.
I had conversation off air when they were in their medical attire and they didn't take it. Here's the thing.
I don't know any of that.
When you go, why do you think they have so much problem? Why do you think the governor says that those in the medical field in the front line is mandated by such and such? Because they weren't taking it. They're not taking it. And that's
and the medical hospital, that's true. What is it? There's something on the screen. What was that quote?
Why did we have so much education? Why did we have so much education on vaccine and not on diet and exercise? And there was something else that he had put up. Can you go back to that?
The one before that. Because diet and exercise don't necessarily address COVID, especially when you have comorbidities. They're not one and the same, right?
The one before.
The one before Andre.
Yeah.
What was the comment?
Pharmacy is the number one commodity in this country. The hospital crisis situation is a strategy to impact the greater mass to get the vaccine, which is true.
And there's one that just came on. What was that? What was that?
Oh,
what? Oh, I don't know what was referring to, right?
In regards to the exercise and the diet.
But it's if you have comorbidities, the diet and exercise alone, diet and exercise is about healthy lifestyle. That's what that's about. Healthy lifestyle, living longer and living stronger and better than the average person, right? If you diet, that doesn't mean that you can't have succumb to illnesses, especially because there are other genealogies and stuff that are involved in that. So because you eat right doesn't mean that you're not going to catch COVID.
And a lot of people had underlying situations.
Right.
It is true.
It can help you through it.
Yes.
It can help you through it, but it's not going to stop you from getting it.
The horses. Comment. There's a direct common trait with many people that died from COVID that have poor diet and healthy lifestyle, which led to pre-existing conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So talking about COVID exposed, where you are in your health. Discuss those that died from it. Yeah, and that was a conversation we had earlier this year, a couple months back, when we had some people who came on in regards to healthy lifestyle, eating right, and
exercise.
And, so that is,
Horace, you're touching on a very good point. Wherein we, especially people of color and Caribbean people, have to look at what we eat, what we intake.
No stew peas.
Right? No, you can't get rid of stew peas. But it's about the quantity too. It's also about the quantity of what you eat. So sometimes we don't drink enough water, we drink red juice. There's nothing wrong with having some red juice.
The dye is
right. There's nothing wrong with having it. It's just that it should not be the water substitute, right? And people use it as the water substitute. Like my son will tell me, "Daddy, I drink water," but I know he didn't drink no water. He drank off the jug of juice that was there, and then might have had a glass of water. It has to be the other way around.
I have to agree with you on this. They are using immediate death as the primary reason to get the vaccine. I do agree with that in regards to I'm not against vaccine, but not trying to praise the vaccine as the cure all to rescue us from this monster called COVID.
Nobody's doing that. I don't think anyone is doing that.
That I think no. I think the way that the message is being driven in New York City.
Well, I wouldn't say just New York City. I would say all around. But I don't agree with that. I don't know that anybody's saying that the vaccine is not the end all be all.
No, I didn't say it was the end all be all. But the way, hey, the anti-vaxxers are the ones that's getting people sick. There's the ones spreading.
But that's when you go to the front line, Joanne. When you're in the front line, the people who are, on average, who are having the greater reaction to the COVID, the people who are having the greater reaction are the people who are not vaccinated. That is a fact. What did Horace say?
Whose man is that? Horace. Roger Daly.
Wait, is that what he's talking about me? Yeah. All right, you talk about whose man is that, right? Wait, I don't get the joke though. Tell me in.
Wait, you never hear this students be talking about whose man's this?
Okay. Okay. I'm slow. What do you want from me? What do you want? I just came back from Jamaica. I'm not in America.
Come on, right?
Horace, you should call in and say that line. It would have been more correct.
But I do agree with him in a sense that you have, even the media stressing it, that the vaccine is gonna. They're talking about safe. And
yes.
I'm not against it, but
everybody says that.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is hogwash. You are against it.
No. Here's the problem.
No, not you personally. When people make the comment, "Oh, I'm not against it," but whenever the one thing that you learn in school is however and but negates everything that you previously stated. I am not against it, but yes, you are against the vaccine. I'm 100%.
No, I disagree because the thing is like bullying you. If you don't do it, then hey, you're against it. If you don't like certain thing, you're against it. No.
So if you're speaking, if you're speaking, my question to Joanne and Dr. Bryant and our producer and to Horace, there are certain things that you look at, right? If I'm saying I'm not taking the vaccine, but I'm not against the vaccine, but these are the reasons why I'm not taking it.
Well, you have to also look at it as some people, when they're in a moment of excitement, they're not even thinking about necessarily the word but or anything like that. Like, they know what they're saying, because I've been in, and of course y'all have been in there. But see what I'm saying? So it's like I just said, but in a sense, it's like saying the word crazy. You use so much that you don't necessarily mean something.
Yeah.
But you know what?
So,
But let's just bring this home. You know, ladies, Roderick, Doc, the bottom line is this: COVID is here. It has taken a lot of lives. We are trying to implement a vaccine. It was an emergency now. It's been approved, a vaccine that can help slow or stymie COVID. You have those who have believed their beliefs or disbeliefs. At the end of the day, why do we buy insurance? We feel that we're healthy. Why do we buy car insurance?
yeah, no problem.
We buy
House insurance, any type of insurance.
We buy it because of the unpredictability of life. So what we're saying is we're asking those who can take this vaccine because we believe it might reduce your ability to be severely impacted by COVID and some of the variants. If you won't want to, because of whatever reason, health reasons, religious reasons, whatever it is, just please mask up and adhere to that, because prevention is better than the cure.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know. I'd rather have the cure.
No.
Oh, you want to prevent?
No, prevention is better than the cure.
Yeah, it's the same thing as, you know,
Borough President Eric Adams talks about, we're always pulling people downstream, pulling them out. But we need to be upstream to prevent them from falling into the river.
Yep.
So what we need,
Because you might not save them coming down.
We might not save them, and it goes comes back to the health in minority communities and our existence of these pre-existing conditions
Mm-hmm.
that really have an impact when a virus or something like this comes around, because we already have a couple of strikes against us because of our health, because of what we eat, you know, the food deserts that exist in our community. You know, what's interesting is that I'm wondering what the number of those who are impacted in the Caribbean countries. But so that's what it is. We can go back and forth on this topic for days, but the bottom line is, if you can take it, take it. If you can't take it, don't take it. But then adhere to all the guidelines that are necessary, because I want to be around for a long period of time. I'm not quite sure we all want to be around for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's funny. I want to segue to, you mentioned the Caribbean, and I want to segue to that. I always laugh, like, people talk about, especially when you look at religion, talking about going home to meet your maker, but nobody's in a rush to go meet the maker, right? So it's when your time comes, it comes, but nobody's going to say, let me go, I want to meet God right now. Right. You know, you touched on something with the Caribbean, and I want to bring that up because I'm just coming back from Jamaica, and I was so disgusted with just the whole Caribbean piece. I love my country. I'm sure you love yours, Joanne, love hers. But it's great on the show. We have a mixture of Caribbean countries that are involved. You family from Guyana, Joanne from Haiti, mine from Jamaica. Right.
Where Andre from? We call that cook up.
Yeah, here's something interesting with Jamaica, John. And I don't know if it's like that in Haiti, Joanne, and Guyana. It costs at the airport. It costs you in Jamaica to take a COVID test.
Oh, it's crazy.
Right? But here's the funny thing, right? There's 607 hospitalization. 1,000 people over the last couple of days who have contracted COVID, and they have a 46.6% positivity rate. Right? That means that almost 50% of the people are coming and taking a test. But guess what? It costs you anything from 7,500 Jamaican dollars, which is about a little bit over $50, to possibly 12,000 Jamaican dollars, which is around $90, to take the test. Right? Now, Jamaica is anti-vaccine. It's anti-vaccine. They're anti-vaccine.
That's interesting.
Right? But to take the COVID test is close to or greater than the minimum wage for the week.
Wow.
Not even for the day. It's more than the minimum wage for the week. I was at the hotel this morning, and I as I'm leaving, I went to the car. It's pouring rain outside, so I'm not walking back to the car because I left my mask in the car, and I need my mask. You know, at the hotel, they charged me $3 for that mask that we get for free. $3 American for the mask. $3 American for masks that we get for free, which is approximately 420 Jamaican dollars, which is more than what somebody makes in an hour.
It's called capitalism.
How do you plan to fix COVID situation in the Caribbean if people don't even have access
to
taking the test? Thinking about taking the vaccine, I'm not even there yet. I'm not even there. I'm at the simple fact that you can't even do the mere prevention of COVID, knowing what's right within a community.
Right.
If you can't, I can't afford to take the test. So I'm walking around, I might not feel any symptoms at that moment. So, I guess people don't understand what it means to be asymptomatic. A lot of people don't know what that term means. So you have to be totally sick to get there. So I don't know. So that's one of my gripes. So I'm going to talk about that gripe first. Go ahead. You guys.
I want to add on to what you were saying. I was in South Carolina. And what was interesting is they do not have enough.
South Carolina, Doc?
Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. So
you're on vacation. Okay.
They do not have enough workers to work there. So they're hiring people from Jamaica. They're going to Jamaica to go and get the workers to bring back to South Carolina because nobody want to work. And I was
the joke about this though. Now that you said that, when I was in Jamaica, the people were saying that they had a sick out. So about 30% of the nurses called out sick, and so now called out sick to go to South Carolina.
Seriously, no, yeah. I was so shocked. Now everywhere you go, there was no workers. The airport, the hotels, the restaurant, they're actually hiring workers from Jamaica. They're going out to Jamaica to go and get people to come and work up there because nobody want to work in South Carolina. And we're like, what is happening? Even Uber drivers, you can't find Uber drivers down there. So that is a major problem. So when they leave, they come and they work and they go back home. Certain strategies or protection maintenance that they would do because they are Jamaican, they don't clear them 100. They clear them, but they don't use the same thing as they were as myself being a foreigner coming to your country. So certain, it's that's why you're having so much rise in a COVID factor, because you have people going back and forth. And like you said, some asymptomatic, some who do show symptoms. So it's a problem.
Well, Doc, it's just like, Dwayne Wright's talking about, who's holding China accountable. The government is coming as the government is bullying the people. No one really is speaking out about the situation. The media gets just enough information from the government to give everyone a warm and fuzzy feeling. You know what, Mr. Wright? It's not about who we are holding accountable. It's about preventing COVID from collapsing, from causing death,
global,
and preventing a global collapse on all levels. Mm-hmm. This is what we are talking about. So, what are we going to do? Are we concerned about accountability?
John, I think John and Joanne and Dwayne, I don't care about China. That's on my thought process. I think, and Dwayne, I hate to put it this way, but it's about blaming, right? And the blame game is not going to fix the problem. The blame game comes after, if you're making some level of incarceration or world, what is it called when a war, or when people kill, crime of war, what, like Hitler, what do you call that? Whatever, when you try somebody after they commit something and say they warfare, I forgot the term that they call it, but that's after the fact. Right now we live in a situation, and I'm thinking as a Caribbean person, I'm not even talking about the United States environment. Again, I'm not even talking about vaccine. I'm just talking about the spread. I'm just talking about, you could wipe out a population of people and generations of people because they don't have access to just what's happening, because they can't afford it.
Right.
And I want to continue the conversation, say, I felt economically depressed. So not just COVID, but economically depressed when I was in Jamaica. And I just feel, and I know I'm going to get it from my Jamaican budettes and buddies and budettes from this comment I'm about to make, but I just don't feel that Jamaica and other third world countries will ever get far. And it's a very strong statement because of what I observed. Like you hold, and they always want to in Jamaica and in Guyana. I know about Guyana politics a little bit, right? With Rick Ford, make sure I'm informed, right? So you have the two parties in Guyana and the two parties in Jamaica. Whichever one is in power blames the other one as to why the people are impoverished. And these people who are so idiotic fall into line to blame, oh, it's about politics. It's not just about politics. It's about you, the individual who follows the politics, and allow yourself to be caught up in the politics. And you worship, whether it's the PPP, what's the other one? The PPP in Guyana, what's the second party?
The PNC.
And the PNC, whether you follow them and not worry about your neighbor, what is happening with you culturally. In Jamaica, it's the labor right versus the PNP, right? Right? But I'm looking at everywhere I go in Jamaica, somebody has a stall set up to sell coconuts, ground provision, or something else.
It's called
Right.
survival, Roger.
Right. It's all about survival.
Mm-hmm.
And not about using. And you know where I see this too? I see it in the in democratic areas. I hate to say it. I was and you know, I went to Staten Island a couple of weeks ago. Guess what the speed limit is on a regular street? Not a regular street, on a street like Linden Boulevard, Kings Highway. 30-something miles an hour. The bus lane, Staten Island, is a Republican town. Guess what the bus lane is? 3 to 7. 3 to 7 going home, and 7 to 10 going to work. It's not. It's Democrats have a tendency to
So what's the
overgovern. So going back,
Ladies and gentlemen, the village, you hear this?
right?
Please, no. This is very important. This is it. What you
I'm a
said-
Democrat.
what you-
I want to make sure people out there know
what you
that,
said is very important.
right?
Ladies and gentlemen of the village, I want people to understand what you said is very important. And the point that you made is very important. You talk about the Democrats are over what?
I don't remember what I said, but they overgovern.
The whole point is we over govern.
Yep.
We over govern because we feel that government has a role to play in the uplifting of people.
And that's what's happened in the West
And
Indies too.
This is what happens, and this is will create what we call a non-productive and lazy society.
And and whoever's in power in Jamaica, unfortunately, it's a little bit different. I don't know what it's like in Haiti, Joe. So you can chime in with Haitian politics. Haitian politics from a neutral. I mean, you have to know Haitian politics. Your parents talk about it all the time.
Oh yeah, they do. But guess what? I don't get involved.
Yeah. No. She probably don't. Politics is not her. It's not her thing. But
then again, like, what about someone saying that perhaps you, being from a privileged standpoint, you're able to say all of this stuff?
well, no. I think I'm not from a privileged standpoint.
But currently,
But I'm not, right? I am not. I am from Middle Quarters, St. Elizabeth, from Shrimp Country.
Well,
That's where I was born.
With
No.
shrimp? With a shrimp.
I didn't get in. I didn't get in. Hopefully, my cousin could bring some up tomorrow. I told her to bring me some. So if she
you
brings
know
it,
what?
I'll freeze it and make sure you
Just
get
like the
some.
banana.
What
bread.
here? What Horace just
Banana
said,
bread is your fault.
I-
Um,
this
but-
is important.
but what I'm
all
saying-
Caribbean
What I'm saying is, in Caribbean countries,
Mhm.
whoever's in power, and it's whoever's in power, whether in Jamaica, whether it's the PNP or the JLP, is going to try to keep the power to themselves, while we as idiots,
I'm not an idiot.
no, we as idiots, I'm saying we because I'm including myself, follow line and start killing each other, as opposed to holding them accountable. Not the party, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, but the party. right? The person, hold them accountable. I may be a Democrat, but I'm gonna hold the Democrat accountable. If I may be a Republican, but I'm gonna hold the Republican accountable. In Jamaica, I'm just, I hear people talk, John. Oh, I'm a labor right for life. What does that mean? While you're suffering?
Right.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, I was so disgusted with the country. The violence.
But that's happening here too, you know?
Right.
That's the same thing happening.
It's a different level. I think here, like I just said, the Democrats overgovern. Like they make these policies to me that are, I really wish that we had a real two-party system in New York City or a three-party system in New York City, which we don't. If you're not a Democrat if you're not a Democrat in New York City, you really have no say in power. Right? Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, the 4 to 5 boroughs. If you don't run on a Democratic ticket, you're not going to win. There's one specific place in Queens where we had the Republican council member, I forgot it, Kim, and then in Staten Island we have usually General 3 or 4. Debbie Rose took one of those seats and she kept it.
We have one in across the Ehrlich.
Yeah, right. So
Eric Ulrich.
Yeah, right. That is on the Republican side. But you may, out of the 51 city council seats, you probably have 5 of them that are Republicans. But at the end of the day, you have your speed cameras up. You have speed cameras up until 10 o'clock at night from the state legislature. Why?
All about money. Money.
Right? It was designed for schools. So if it's designed for school, which school is open until 10 o'clock at night? Why is your kid on the street at 10 o'clock at night? That's just poor parenting. That has nothing to do with politics. If the child's not going where they're going, they shouldn't be on the street. So therefore, there should be no bus lane open until 7 o'clock. Right? It's about money. It's about sucking people dry. In the West, John, when $3 for a face mask, right? I went to eat someplace. I bought a hamburger Tuesday night. My cousin bought me a hamburger on an Uber, right? I paid for a chicken burger with fries, which was $2,160. So I basically paid $17 for a burger. I went to the hotel. They were charging $18 for a curry goat, which we get right here for $9, $10. So we're charging more than. How do you afford that? And how does the government, if real government, PNP or JLP, how do you allow that to happen? Right? How do you allow that to happen? It doesn't matter who's in power. The dollar rose under both parties, or one party might say it rose more under the other party than the fact of the matter is the money rose. In 1978, the American dollar to the Jamaican dollar was 2 to 1.
Right.
Now it's 150 something to 1. Why? It only happened on the labor right? It didn't happen on the PNP. It rose under both parties, right? When they build a highway to, I paid $3,200 for a toll. Who can afford $3,200 if your monthly salary, if your weekly salary is $75,000, $8,000 to take a toll? That means you can't even afford a car.
Roger,
Oh man,
it's all about the ability to control your constituency.
John, our producer wants us to read that comment.
Horace, again, my brother, can't even send supplies to our families without fear of physical attack. True.
Not only that, harsh. When I went down, they ransacked through my suitcase to tax me, and I'm trying to help out the country. I'm coming down to help people, and you're going through my suitcase to tax me. And I mean, not.
I know you're a terrorist.
No, not. They're not searching for bombs.
How do you know?
No, they're not. They're searching for what they could charge you for.
Tia says both parties bow down to big businesses. It's all about
like impoverished or just poor in a sense. You're thinking of you right now. So
Yeah.
like, if you can find any way to even like get enough money from people, it's like when we bring down the stuff and you have the kids I'm line up. I had some of them come like, can we get a tablet again? And you know that for the kids who don't even have any access to technology, we want to make sure they get it. Now, if you don't give the ones that already have some access, they're still gonna feel like, damn,
Yeah.
there's nothing for me.
You know,
Tia, no, hold on. Tia is a comment. Tia says,
Yeah, both
party
parties buy
loud,
that
loud
to big businesses.
big business.
I don't know.
You know what, Tia? I don't believe that, because big businesses can give you money, but it's the people that provide the vote necessary for you to win. I can give, like Mr. Daly over here, Andre, they can give $20,000, $100,000 contributions. However, they have one vote, like I have one vote, and I don't have to give a dime. So big businesses, they do play a role, but not the role that they used to play, because there's so many other avenues with the increase of matching funds and stuff like that. But on the federal level, it hasn't reached to that point yet. It does. I think it has.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's a dollar for dollar on the federal level. There's another comment there, John. What was the comment, Joanne? You were about to read that.
They'll let you through as a terrorist if the money is right. Rod knows.
Say it again.
They'll let you through as a terrorist if the money is right. Rod knows. Oh God.
Who's that? Who made that comment?
Horace.
Yeah, you got jokes, Horace. All right. Some of the things. So third world countries, and I'm speaking for the Caribbean countries, right? That they're just not going to get better, right? I hate to say it, and it sounds like I'm talking about two sides out of my mouth, but maybe becoming a communist country.
Oh Lord.
Where, no, hear me out first before you chastise me. Remove capitalism a little bit, like they do in Cuba, to increase certain governmental help, so that to avoid some of this crazy poverty that is happening and this glutton for punishment in many Caribbean countries. I'm not saying that Cuba doesn't have this poverty.
A disclaimer.
I'm not communist. I'm not shooting for communists.
Disclaimer. That's all I want to do.
Right. I told people I'm a Democrat, so they could take whatever they want from that.
You're a socialist.
No, I'm not a socialist. I'm definitely not. I am a capitalist. I believe in capitalism, but I mean, there's just certain things that are just wrong. There's a lot of money in Jamaica. There's a lot of money in Haiti. There's a lot of money in Guyana. And unfortunately, people can't, like you said, I have one vote. And people are not utilizing that one vote to mean anything. Mm-hmm. Right? It's, if I get the 50 cents, I don't care that you get $9.50 because I'm getting 50 cents. Right. Not realizing that if they're $10, if I do it right, I can gain $3 or $4, right. Which means I can feed my family. And that's where I'm coming from. The builder, so people can't blame the labor right or the PNP because they can't talk about the labor right now because the PNP was the one that started the highway in Jamaica. Right? That provided work. But why is it the work outsourced? True. Right? Why again, it's 30, the cost of the toll for Jamaica is more than the Verrazano Bridge, dog. I know. More than who can afford that? It's more. I complain going across the Verrazano Bridge. You do. I think most of us avoid going across the Verrazano Bridge because of how expensive it is. So how can you make economic gains if in one hand somebody gives you $1? That's why I don't believe in minimum wage. Right? I don't believe in living wage or minimum wage because You can't
So
give
what you
me.
believe then?
I believe that your money should work for you.
Yeah, but hold on.
No, I explained before and I explained again why I don't believe in minimum wage.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Right?
Listeners.
I don't believe for you to give me $15 an hour to make me feel good that my paycheck, $15 an hour, 40 hours a week is $600.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you give me $600 a week. Before it was $10, so it's $400 a week. So now you give me $200 a week more, and then you raise my rent 15%. What's the point?
I can't afford to live.
Of giving me a minimum wage increase, and then I can't afford to pay my rent? You raised the bus fare 12%. You raised the gas 30%. You didn't give me a 30% raise, but you raised my rent 10. You didn't give me a 10% raise any year, but you raised my rent 10%. That's why I don't believe in it. Not because I don't think it's good, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't think you should earn money. I'm saying that you can't give it to me in one hand and take it away in another.
And that's what happens.
That's the American way.
And that's not just the American way.
That is the economic
universal way.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Back in the days, about 1974, 72, 74, the average CEO was making about 5 times as much or 10 times as much as the average worker. Now it's 250%, 250 times more, not percent, but 250 times more. How does that
The
work?
rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
There's-
Unfortunately, and the
Right.
middle class get hit. So,
And-
and no one's fixing this problem.
I didn't touch on something, Joe. Haiti, the earthquake,
Mm-hmm.
right? I didn't touch on that.
24
What's going on in
people-
Haiti? I'm hoping to have Rodney's on next week to talk about that. So what's going on in Haiti?
I know that during this week they did rescue 24 individuals.
Wow, beautiful.
They
rescued what, 24?
Beautiful.
Individuals that survived.
What do you mean by rescued?
They were stuck after the earthquake. They were still stuck from last week.
And they were still alive?
Mm-hmm. They were
Praise
still
be.
alive.
Praise be.
So that's that. I know there are many organizations who are helping out, which is great. France this week also contribute a certain amount of gallon of water for clean water supplies. So
Okay, that's excellent.
yeah. So, there's different movements happening, and the Red Cross is nowhere to be heard about or anything at all. So there are smaller organizations from the United States, from Miami, from different places that, you have Haitian people involved in that are contributing and are making real movement and changes. So that is a wonderful thing. You can organize yourself as a collective and make a greater impact that way, because you won't allow what happened prior to occur again. So,
it's great to know that people are still alive. 24 people, John. That's one thing with the U.S. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that cheap shot. I was going back to the Marines in Afghanistan.
Oh, wait. I do need to touch that. I will make a disclaimer and go back, because I am not blaming, let me make this clear, I'm not blaming the president. I'm not saying it's his fault. I did not say that at all. I'm just saying, hey, we need to listen and we need to pay attention to all parties when we make a collective decision.
I got you.
Decision.
Is there any organization or anything like that people can refer to that you know about?
I do know Capri. Hold on. There was
I think Rodney Spichat out of her office is doing something. She and Farah Lewis.
Yeah, Capri Care is another organization that I know has had people who were effective. The gentleman went to school. We went to school together. There are several different organizations. Who won recently? your girl who won, she is very involved as well.
Farah or Mercedes?
Mercedes, she's also involved. She is sending up different different supplies. In addition, what I have to give to New York City is that they set up areas where people can actually donate part of their income to. I have to give the mayor his credit for that people can donate and they will give to the different organization as well. And also the police department. You could drop off supplies to the different police stations and they will contribute and send things to Haiti. So I do love to hear the collective effort from all parties. So that is, greatly appreciated. So that's it.
All right. So people, please reach out to your locally to your local electeds, especially in Central Brooklyn, and any elected can tell you who's doing what to help out.
Fundraisers are still going on too.
I know that they're trying to do. Hopefully, they get it something to do. Something to do with TPS, temporary protective services, to help out those individuals who are in dire straits in Haiti, and Haitian families as well. And remittance and food and those things would be extremely and useful for those as well.
Right. So that's that.
So that was that. What else is going on out there, Andre, in the world? Huh? I can't hear you.
Moment of silence.
Oh, right. Okay. Tell me when you're ready for that, and you're the producer. School starts in a couple of weeks. So school starts September 3rd. Please make sure that you get your school supplies up. In New York, school starts
September
the week
13th.
after Labor Day.
13th.
The 13th to be exact. I know in Florida and many other states out there, the children are back. Some charter schools actually in New York City, they're also back in session.
And a place in Long Island, I can't remember one of the school districts in Long Island also started early, which was quite interesting. Oh gosh.
Honestly, I would love for school to start the second week of August. That would be ideal, so they get out earlier. And I don't like now that there's no more canceled schools, right? There are no more canceled schools. If you check the school dates, right, and which I think the union needs to do something about it, right? And that is, you're supposed to do 180 days a year, right? You're supposed to do 180 days a year, but if you count them, physically count them, you find that you do over 186 days at some point in the year, and they're not compensating you for those days because your salary is based upon 180-day schedule. I don't know if you know how the system works. First, it used to get paid up till June, right? So every 2 weeks you get paid, and then people were between July and August. It's a human thing, you go paycheck to paycheck. I'm getting my money in, so I spend my money accordingly. But then for the month of August, people who didn't budget, right? Who didn't budget were broke, so they were applying for welfare. So they extended the payment over a 12-month period, so you get paid twice a month, right? But you're still working the same amount of time. So one of the things, Joanne, is that you need to talk to the union about. Don't shake your head. Talk to the union. Talk to the union leader about ways to get your days back. So those 6 to 9 days that you're losing you could be home June 21st or June 15th from school because you're doing your days. If I don't use my snow days, give them back to me at the end of the year. Why keep them? And they're going to tell me some malarkey, right? about why I hit John because I heard him making fun of my Malaki word, garbage, right? Tell me some kind of Malaki about, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's part, no, give me back my days. So move the regions, the June regions should not be assigned until May, or until after April, because after April, you'll know whether or not you're going to have any snow days. Am I correct? And then since there are no more, as a matter of fact, since there are no more snow days, because now you do online school, you could end school June 15th, June 16th.
That would be awesome, right?
That would be awesome, and that's what it should be, right? And I think the UFT need to really revisit that, or financially compensate you
for extra days.
for those 9 days,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's either A or B, but you can't get free service for all of these years. I mean, I spent the time and count them. We want to do a moment of silence for my mother-in-law. Going to put it on the screen in 3, 2, 1. For those of you, just give me a moment as our producer put that up. Yeah, so as on the screen, you can always go back and review when is the services if you're able to. I think we're going to do a Zoom, so if you're interested, I'll put the Zoom on my Facebook page so you can see that.
Also, the U.S. tennis.
Yes, yes, I did. So both sisters, Serena and Venus, both withdrew from the U.S. Open, which starts on Monday. It's sad that they pulled out. Serena pulled out on a hamstring. I don't know why Venus pulled out. But
She's also
ankle. I just, honestly, my wife hates when I say this because she's a tennis aficionada. I think Venus needs to retire. She's not doing it anymore. I think it's time when you got to learn. She's not passing the first nor second round. Maybe she gets to the second. She's not getting to the third anymore, right? So maybe it's time for her to call it a night, call it a day. What's that? I saw a comment on the screen from. So what's that from? Who's that from?
Anne-Marie. I see where Jamie Foxx and Lionel Richie redid the songs "We Are the World" written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie. All the great artists were featured in it. At the end, Lionel Richie was soliciting for people to donate and help Haiti. I think that was a great remix of the song and a great gesture. I didn't even know. Wow, thank you.
I didn't know that either. I'm assuming, Anne-Marie, this is related to Haiti. I'm assuming, going back to the topic about Haiti. That is excellent. Kudos to them that they do that for that. What was that? So my producer's telling. What's the comment? Millie. Right. So thank you. Oh, Millie, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you. Is that Millie Bonilla, right?
No, that's Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. I can't. Eddie, I'm on the other side of the screen, so I can't see from. Yes, please do. I thank you, and I thank you for that, and making sure that the family is fully aware. At the family reunion, I'm gonna kind of address it a little bit. At a family reunion, and I guess there's different ways to look at it. While we were down there, this was already planned to go. We had to cut it short because of the current situation. And my wife was with some family members, and she took a picture. And she took a picture because she's sad the whole time. Yeah, it really is. People are not there, but she's really missing her mom.
Right.
I'm missing her mom as well because she really was like a mother. I mean, I've known her mother for like 30 years. I think I was saying that at the beginning. And somebody commented because she was in a family picture and she felt bad, made her feel worse because she was in a family picture in a bathing suit, and people were, "Oh, you shouldn't be." I'm like, "You."
Yeah. People mourn different ways, and
But it's not that she's not. She is mourning.
Right.
But
right.
people are like, "Yo, come and take the picture. Stop sitting there being gloomy."
You know,
I understand.
Roger.
But it looks. But you can't be. What do you want her to do?
As the Bible says.
Let me tell you,
weeping may endure for the night,
but joy
cometh in the morning.
Yes.
Right.
It's a celebration of life. We
Right.
should celebrate the life of Garcia's mother, and that's it.
That's it. You know, stop criticizing.
Don't even take it up.
Yeah, you know, I mean, 'cause she called me up today. And she was very upset. Like, oh, you know, da 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 da. I'm like, and I thought about what she was saying. I'm like, people you have nothing better to do sometimes.
People are just
Funerals bring the worst and the best in people, so you know that's to be expected.
Yeah.
And on another note, I want to speak to you guys. What do you guys think about the milk crate challenge?
I'm seeing some things about it, but to me, it seems like all of these challenges are stupid to me. Like people somebody fell and broke their neck.
Yes, you know it's crazy. Like why? Yeah. It's
right?
the Hood Olympics.
I don't know why people are doing these stupid things to themselves and think it's okay. It's not boredom. It's just stupidity. John needs to do a milk cake challenge because he's bored. Look. John is like behind it. John is fretting right now. That's what we say in Jamaica, fretting. What do you say in Guyana when you worry? Then you have your hand like this, John. What do you call it?
I ain't worried. This is foolishness you're talking about. A milk crate challenge.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Andre, Kurt even did something for the artist. Kurt Franklin, a couple of different artists. I have to go back to this. Did rappers and gospel artists and like Miss Willissy mentioned, different artists are creating songs that are donating straight to Haiti. So Andre, I just send you something, so maybe you could play that at the end for people to hear, and at least people are listening and hearing and supporting, because Haiti has been hit with tragedy month after month. A month and 7 days after the president was assassinated, the earthquake happened. So it's just praying that next month will be better and more joy coming along. And since we're coming to the end, I pray that you all have a wonderful, safe, and wonderful week.
Yeah.
And we pray that.
Are you going to play the song? She asked you to play a song, right?
Yep.
I think it's on our group chat. Ladies and gentlemen, while Andre's pulling up that song to play, no, Andre said we don't have enough time, Doc. Sorry.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
I want to thank you, whether you're listening, watching, and also participating. As some of you did on our Facebook. We appreciate that, and YouTube. Just letting you know that you've been watching, listening, paying attention to The Village, where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing to be successful? John, Joanne, great show. We'll see you next week. And thank you all of you out there in the village, as John called you guys, the villagers.
The villagers, and we will keep you in prayer, you and your family.
Appreciate it.
Strengthen you.
All right, God bless.
Bye-bye.